I'm my co-host, Walter Stair on the end.
Well, good evening. How's it going?
Doing good, Walter. How you doing?
Real good.
How's the Vols doing?
The Vols were winning at halftime 34-32, and both teams are shooting pretty well and don't have many turnovers, so it's apparently going to be a tough game the rest of the way.
We'll have to see if Brad can get the TV on maybe later, maybe not, but try to keep everyone updated on that. But our guest tonight is the Clinton High School wrestling team with head coach Channing McDonald. And
yes, sir.
Channing, thank you for being here and welcome
Absolutely.
to the show.
Thank you for having us. Really appreciate you giving us some time tonight. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Channing's brought along 5 of his wrestlers from Clinton High School. We have Lucas Kendall, Kayla Crutcher, Riley Silk, Bianca Newcomb, and Justice Snyder. So right now we want to take a look at these athletes. And, if y'all would, get the camera on you here. Just go ahead and introduce yourself and tell everyone what grade you're in and what weight class you wrestle in.
I'm Bianca Newcomb. I'm a senior, and I wrestle the weight class 120.
I'm Lucas Kendall. I did wrestle 170 until I got hurt. But
Hi, I'm Justice Snyder. I wrestle in the weight class 120, and I am a junior.
I'm Riley Silk. I'm a junior. I wrestle in the weight class 152.
I'm Kayla Crutcher. I'm a freshman, and I wrestle 126.
So, Kayla, you're wrestling 126, you said, and you're a freshman, right?
Yes, sir.
How's the season going for you?
It's going pretty good. I mean, it's my first time ever doing anything like this, but I've been doing pretty good.
Riley, I know it's not your first go-around, but how long you've been wrestling, and how's the season going for you?
This is my 3rd year wrestling, 2nd year under Coach McDonald. My season's going pretty good, and I'm hoping to make a shot at state, placement at state this year.
Same question, Justice.
This is my 2nd year wrestling, and I definitely have high hopes. My season's going pretty good. I've beat some really tough opponents, and I'm very proud of myself. I couldn't do anything about it. I couldn't have done anything out with this with Coach. You know, he's taught me everything, and I'm very proud of him for making me improve so much in just a year and 2 years. So, you know, I definitely hope I can go to state.
Lucas?
well, my season was going good, and then I got hurt, snapped my arm in half. But other than that, I was having a good year. Then it happened, but still there for my teammates, support them, appreciate Coach for everything he's done. Definitely come back, help Coach after this.
Lucas, before you go, I just now noticed your arm. I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh yeah.
Lucas went to the state last year, right? Was you
Yes,
finished
sir.
3rd?
Placed 5th in state last year.
Finished 5th?
Yes, sir.
Wow. So I know you're disappointed not to be able to go back. What kind of season was you having?
I was having a pretty good season. I was at 182 at the start of the season. I didn't really like it there. Then I bumped back down to 170, started dominating back there where I was last season. And then I got my injury, and now I'm sitting silent, but I'm still with my team, practice every day, cheering them on. Sure, everyone's going to make a state. It's my hopes. We're making a good program here at Clinton. So
Sort of helping coach now, right?
yes, sir.
Bianca, seen a picture of you and Nakuya last week where you won a match. I think you was against Anderson County. If you would, just go ahead and talk about your season.
This is my 2nd year. The season's going okay. I definitely have a lot of room to improve before regionals come up, but I'm pretty split down the middle. Like it's going really good though.
Okay, we'll be back to chat with you all here in a little bit. Channing, Coach McDonald, how is the season going with the Dragons?
I think we had a little bit more higher expectations when it came to some of the team dynamic. We really thought we were going to be able to I guess, supply a bigger roster this year and be able to fill up our weight classes. We still struggle with filling up our small weight classes. Justice, unfortunately, is the smallest kid on the team at 120, and there's 2 weight classes below him. So it's always a struggle when you go up against any tough team that's got a full team and you want to do well in duels against them. So the team side of things didn't pan out as well as we wanted to this year. We did have some high expectations for trying to compete for first in the district against Halls this year. Halls had a really great team this year. A lot of talent there. They ended up winning state this past weekend in Franklin at the Ag Expo down there, and. But we want to compete every time we go out on the mat, and these kids right here, man, they come to practice every day, and they look forward to it, and they get out there and they want to compete with each other and be the best Clinton team we can be. So as far as team goes, we finished 2nd in the district this year, 3rd in the region, same as we did last year. We had some guys kind of fall off due to injury. A couple guys quit mid-season, which it's par for the course when it comes to wrestling. It's a really tough sport. And me and my assistant coach, we demand a lot out of these kids, mainly because we want to make sure that we're not just teaching them how to wrestle, but we're teaching them how to be proper members of society and go out there and understand that they're going to face a lot of hardship throughout their life that has nothing to do with sports or wrestling. And just like a tough go at wrestling, you got to persevere and you got to get through it. So we've been trying to instill that. We do have a lot of success individually on the team. Very proud of Kayla, the way she's came out this year. One of the reasons I asked her to come tonight was because as far as what our up-and-coming freshmen get to experience and how they get to feel about moving forward in the sport and just where their future can lie is something important to us. So individually, we're right there ready to battle. I hope that we're taking anywhere from 6 to 8 kids to state this year, hoping and praying, but we're going to try to make sure they're as ready as they can be for this weekend. We got one step at a time till we get there.
And who's your assistant coach?
Eric Snyder. He helps a lot with us.
Got old Eric out there.
Yeah, Eric. He comes out and helps me a lot, and he's a little older than me, so there's some things, me as being a younger coach, he puts in my ear, and that really, it sharpens me up as a coach too. So, I really appreciate his time that he gives to us and the guys.
Right. I know he's an old wrestler, and
yep,
it's a
Ohio boy.
Yeah, Ohio. He's
Yep.
That's a great addition.
Yeah.
To the team, have him with his experience.
Yeah. Well, also he's if you've met Eric, he's a smaller guy, but he helps with the smaller guys a lot, and I get to work with the bigger guys and stuff. So we get to go where our strengths lead, and we're very complimentary of each other. So we'll be going through some moves, or and we'll talk about his variation of it and my variation of it, and why we do the things we do, and what to look for while you're in a wrestling match. And I think we do a pretty good job of getting our kids ready to go.
Walter?
How many weight classes do you have? I know I've read something about there was like 14 weight classes.
There is.
And how many do you have, and how do you organize the different players, and how many players do you have in particular division?
Well, it could be a struggle depending on the kids you have. Like usually, and wrestling's a bit of a different sport. Like in wrestling, you don't have parents coming to you going, "Hey, my kid Johnny isn't getting such and such playing time, et cetera," because it's all decided right there on the mat. So we have wrestle-offs once every 2 weeks. Guys can go in and challenge for a spot. So if I have 2 120-pounders and the guy feels like he's a little bit more froggy than Justice that day, he might go in and challenge him. And if the guy wins the spot, then he's varsity for the next 2 weeks until Justice can re-challenge him for that position. So that part is pretty cut and dry. There are some things to think about during duels, like there's even and odd and those sort of things where your guy might have to go up first, so the coach on the other bench can kind of see who you're putting in. And if he's got multiple guys in a weight class, he could throw somebody in there he thinks might be better than that particular guy that you sent up. So there are some different coaching dynamics that do play a role in there. But like you said, 14 weight classes, and we struggled this year mainly to keep up with the smaller weight classes. We were struggling around the 106, 114, and 132 classes. We got a need for those, and it's our job as a team to go out and recruit guys to come and show them how special the sport is and what it can do for them as an individual. And so that's our goal, is to recruit and to grow this thing as big as we can get it.
And I know I'm trying to remember from boxing, which some of that probably is similar. Flyweight's probably down in the, I want to say around 112 or somewhere in that area.
Yeah, and that's the same way it goes here. I mean, you got your smaller kids. Usually, the smaller guys are going to be the younger guys. You don't really see a bunch of seniors that say we'll stay at 106 a lot. So, the discrepancy in weights happen, but that's why you try to build a big team. First of all, with a big team, you have a lot more competition within your team. So you can have guys that can actually push each other. You can get the most out of a competitor that way. So having a big wrestling room with a lot of guys in it is always key to a coach.
We're visiting with the head coach of the Clinton Dragon wrestling team, Channing McDonald. And Channing, how long have you been coach? I know this is your first year at Clinton, right?
Yeah, my first year. No, it's my second year at Clinton.
Second, okay.
I started. Well, actually, when Lucas was a freshman, I started at West High School. I started there. West is my alma mater. That's where I wrestled at and went to school at. And they had wanted to start a team back up around I think it was 2019. And so a buddy of mine was working at the school. He knew my history there and wrestling there, and he just asked if I wanted to come in and kind of help and see where it went. And 3.5 years later, here we sit. So for me, it's been a blessing. The move to Clinton's been a blessing. I felt nothing but open arms out there. Good sense of family, good sense of camaraderie, and I'm so far very happy with the decision I made. I think Clinton's a good spot for me. I think we can do a lot there. I think it has a lot of potential to grow.
So you went to West High School?
West High School, yep.
And wrestled for the Rebels?
Wrestled for the Rebels, yep.
How did you do in your high school career?
High school I wasn't some super dominant wrestler. I did end up going to Cumberland University for a little while and wrestling with them. So I made the leap to try to go on into college and wrestle with some of those guys, and it was a benefit. It really that's one thing that you learn if you get to go and kind of be a part of a college team, is the difference between practices in a high school setting to a college setting, and kind of just the way things are done and the structures your practices take place. I mean, at West, we only had 4 or 5 kids per the team every year, and then you go on and get to walk on at a college or get to go to a college and wrestle with them, and you see that every weight class is filled, like we talked about, with multiple wrestlers, and how your coaches structure and practice and what they go over. And I ate that kind of stuff up, and I really enjoyed kind of the dynamics of the wrestling room and the wrestling practices.
Coach, how often does a person have to weigh in, and the fact that they're getting older and growing, that sort of thing? Are they in 5 and 10 pound increments, or do you weigh ever so often where that's concerned? Or?
Well, the TSSAA uses a system called track wrestling to monitor wrestlers' weights and their where they're classified, where they can get to, how much weight they can lose in a given period of time. So at the beginning of the season, all the kids will do a weight cert test where they have to be hydrated and weigh in at a certain weight, and then based on that weight, the track wrestling will break down exactly when they can get to their goal weight and what day that can be. So our goal is to come in as close to your weight as possible and as hydrated as possible. So, if Riley Silk's wrestling 152 and it's the beginning of the year, I'd like for him to be around 154 and hydrated for that test at the beginning of the year. Because it only gives him, he don't have to take too much time to get down to 152. He's got 2 pounds to lose. They'll probably allot him a week and a half to lose, that, and we can get on with wrestling at that point. And every time you weigh in and you enter your information in the track, it kind of resets what those weight goals should be. And they've done a real good job from back when I was in school. It was just, you just got after it and lost the weight. Like there was no stipulations on protecting the athletes from bad practices when it comes to losing weight.
And like this one gentleman played for Clinton, or Kendall, I guess it is, he went from 170 to 182, or 182 down to 170. Is that a different classification, or is that just within that area?
That's just, this is the same area. Of course, he's wrestling different kids at 182 than he would be at 170.
Right.
The reason we looked at 182 this year is the speed difference that Lucas has on a lot of his opponents. You get up to the heavier kid, he can still match them strength-wise, but he's going to be a little quicker than most of them off the whistle. So their strengths and weaknesses, like he was saying, he had some pretty good success before he got hurt. I know he wrestled the 182 at Pigeon Forge, who finished second in the state, right? Finished second in the state last year. And the first time Lucas wrestled him early at the Catholic Invitational, the kid beat Lucas like, what, 5-4, something like that. And, we ended up going out to Pigeon Forge about a month later, and I just was like, you got to go back out there. You got to go face this guy and get your pride back that you need. And he went out there and beat the kid, about the same, like 5-3 maybe or something like that. So, let you know how you're progressing as wrestlers, how the team's progressing, and you can fluctuate and play around with weights and figure out where you want to be. We had the same kind of situation with Riley this year. Riley wrestles 152, but we wanted to see how he felt at 145. So there was a period of time where he went down to 45, wrestled a few matches and tournaments at 145 just so he could see if that's where he felt like he was the strongest, or as if maybe going back up to 52 was the strongest for him. So.
Okay.
Coach, what's going on this weekend? I know you mentioned something. It's the team portion of the wrestling is over with, right?
Team portion is over. This weekend we will be at Gibbs High School to do regional individuals, and
is that what it means by duels?
yeah. Well,
Individual?
when it's duels, that's going to be your team sport. So whenever you hear somebody talk about duels, it's your team versus X team. But when you talk about individual tournaments, it's just these guys. The team score is still kept. Like as they're progressed through the tournament, there's still an overall team score. But as far as most of that's concerned, unless you're one of the top 2 teams, you're not worried about that. We're worried about winning our matches and getting to the top 4 and getting on a sectionals. That's our main goal.
So Clinton advanced to the regionals.
Yep. We came in second to the Halls in district, and that you take the top 2 out of district from both sides, and that creates your region pool. So we had to wrestle Gibbs first in our regional duel. Halls wrestled Union County this year, and it ended up being Halls and Gibbs, which has been the case for a lot of years, and we're looking to try to squeeze in there at some point. But also, Coach Pitt, when I started high school wrestling, Coach Tim Pittman at Gibbs was my high school coach, and so I try to learn a lot from him too. I'm always pulling his ear when I see him and asking him stuff, and he's always been great for the sport, and he's done a great job at Gibbs, and I can only hope to try to do some of those same things out here at Clinton, and I think we can. But I'm always trying to get an edge. I'm always trying to be a better coach. I'm always trying to take criticism the right way, and I'll do whatever it takes. So I'm trying to get there.
So the individuals this weekend, where will that be?
Individuals will be at Gibbs this weekend, and come on out, please. We'd love to have your support. If not, just come out and get to watch some wrestling. If you've not watched it a lot, it's a very interesting sport. It's fun to watch. Might have to teach you some scoring stuff, but other than that, once you get it, it's a great sport.
So how many kids do they qualify us for the state?
Well, what they'll do is you'll have your regional tournament, and all these guys will go. You'll have eight other teams in your region, so you have a possibility of having 8 other guys in your bracket. So I think that means you have to win 2 matches to be guaranteed to go to sectionals, but they take the top 4. So the top 4 wrestlers in regional will then move on to sectionals, where you'll get the other region will bring their top 4 in. It's another 8-man tournament, and then the top 4 out of those 8 teams, those kids will go on to state.
Okay.
And state used to be a 32-man tournament, and I think it's a 17-man tournament now. They've kind of, after COVID, they shortened all that and compacted it all. So.
Do you know how long Clinton's had a wrestling program?
I think when Mr. Snyder was working as maybe principal at the time, or assistant principal at Clinton, I think it was like 09, 010 that they tried to start it up then, and it's just kind of trickled around from my understanding for the last little bit, and then here the last 2 years we've really turned it up. So
how do you see the Clinton program in 5 years? What's your goal?
State champions.
State champions.
That's where I want to be.
Right.
That's my goal. But that's going to take the community backing us, and my main thing is to have the doors open as much as I can to get people involved, and coming out and getting the youth out to wrestle. We got to build our youth program up. That's one thing that these other schools have.
What about the feeder program for Clinton?
Yeah, right now we got 2 good coaches. We got Coach Gonzo and Coach Hollifield, and they work with our youth in middle school, and they do a good job. We're trying hard to promote that right now. One thing that we do have planned is going and doing some kind of in-school exhibitions for some of the elementary and middle schools. That way those kids can see what wrestling is, kind of inquire about it, and we have programs. We'll get out of here in March, and then we'll start wrestling towards the end of March, again, we'll get back into freestyle and Greco-Roman. There's some, different styles of wrestling, but it gives the kids somewhere to come back and just get right back on the mat, not soon after the season's over. Okay. So just like any other sport that you want to be great in, if you want to, a lot of times you got to do it year-round. So we make sure your kids have that opportunity.
Okay. You got a call, Chandler?
Yes, sir.
All right. Locker room chat, you're on the air.
Hey, gentlemen, just catching in, listening to old Channing McDonald, and this is Brett Rydens, and I just wanted to give a comment real quick and share just how proud I am of him.
This is one of my buddies who lives in Virginia now. He's just he's calling to show the support, and that's one thing that I'm excited about in my life is that I got good people around me that love me and they support me and always trying to bring me up instead of tear me down. So thanks, Brett. Appreciate it, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right, buddy. Proud of you, and just really enjoying this show and hearing you guys talk about wrestling and everything in the East Tennessee area. So all of y'all keep up the good work, and Channing, I love you, man, and proud of you.
Thank you, sir. Love you too, man. Appreciate
all right. See you, man.
Thank you for calling in. And right now we're going to take our first break of the night, and we're visiting with the head coach of the Clinton Dragon wrestling team, Channing McDonald, and he's brought some of his grapplers, right?
Yeah.
Along with him.
Yeah.
So,
wrestlers. Yeah.
Wrestlers. So we're going to go ahead and meet them when we come back. So stick around. You're watching the Locker Room Chat.
Hi, I'm from. Oh no.
They got OEV?
Let us handle the insurance company, or whatever, if you've been injured in an accident. We don't miss the shot. Scoring for our clients is what we do best.
As soon as I walked in the door and saw just the ambiance of the place, I thought, wow. I said, this is really nice. Everyone is just great with all of the residents.
I call this the Alexander House of Angels.
This is an example of one of our rooms. This is considered a large studio. We do have 4 different size rooms. They all have their own private bathrooms. They all have a small kitchenette.
I always tell residents that they feed us wisdom. I feel like that's a big special part of working in assisted living.
And it's a big family here. Everyone is very nice.
Look out for each other.
They do. She's made a lot of friends. It's been that from day one.
Yeah, it has. I love our building, our people, but I tell you, I wouldn't be anywhere else.
Daniel Forrester has been recognized as one of East Tennessee's leading attorneys for nearly 2 decades. Civil disputes, criminal defense, divorces, and juvenile custody cases are all part of an impressive resume. Daniel's legal experience also includes representing clients in local, state, and federal courts. A husband and a father, Daniel is a Rule 31 certified mediator who has represented hundreds of families in Chancery Court. Call Daniel Forrester Law Office at 865-457-7900 for a free consultation.
Earl Duff Pre-Owned Center in Harriman is your one-stop shop for vehicle sales and service. The Duff family is open for business for everything automotive. We offer fully inspected, dependable pre-owned vehicles, and most come with a powertrain warranty at no extra cost. We also have a complete service department equipped for maintenance and repairs on all makes and models.
Don't settle for less with your next pre-owned vehicle purchase. Come to Earl Duff Pre-Owned Center in Harriman or online at duffpreowned.com.
We treat you like family at RMG. Bring your junk, cars, aluminum cans. We buy it on the spot and we pay you a lot. We treat you like family at RMG. Yeah, we treat you like family at RMG. We treat you like family.
Rome Metals is located just off of Highway 27 between Harriman and Rockwood.
Welcome back into Locker Room Chat. We're visiting with head coach of the Clinton Dragon wrestling team, Channing McDonald. And right now we're going to look at the wrestling pole. I believe this is the final Tennessee High School wrestling pose you can see there. And talk a little bit about this, Coach McDonald.
Right off the top of my head, Cleveland is pretty much always, one of your top teams, Bradley Central. Now, there's a team that I gush over, and these kids know it. Like, it's a team that I think does it right, and that's Father Ryan. If you watch them when they're at, like, a tournament and just the way that they approach their tournaments and stuff, them boys are, they're coached up well, and that's how, that's kind of how I want to run my program. But Dobbins Bennett was right there this year. I'm very surprised that they didn't win this year over Cleveland. I think they lost by 1 point in maybe their semifinal match. I was following it all day Saturday, but I couldn't watch it live, but I was following it online all day Saturday. Dobbins Bennett, they wrestled in a duels tournament with us a couple weeks ago at Halls, and they're on the level. Wilson Central also on the level. NBA, I'm not sure exactly who that is. Summit, don't know much about them. Brentwood, we've been to tournaments with them. I like the way they handle themselves. Blackman is always a tough school. And then Christian Brothers and Halls is just down the road. And I say when it comes to East Tennessee, like Halls, Gibbs, Maryville, them schools are probably are your top-notch, teams from around the area. They have they got some really good programs and a lot of kids out, and they're just doing it right. Both those coaches are established, or all three of those coaches are well established. I really do. I don't see them up here, but Maryville also had a really good year this year. Alex Cate out there, he's really getting Maryville to a good point. And also Heritage is coming back a little bit too. So we're getting those schools. And also just right down the road, Anderson County, they do a pretty good job. They have a good team. We like to compete against them. Of course, we always want to win. We always want to have those bragging rights of rival against them. But I like Sloan, and we always work together to try to do these in-school matches to promote our sport on both sides of the river there. So it's just there's some top-notch schools out here, and you can't really shy away from Tennessee wrestling because there's definitely some talent out here. When we get to that state tournament here in about 3 weeks, you're going to see a lot of competition out there.
I notice there's private schools mixed in with the public.
Yeah.
So that makes it even tougher to win a state, I'm sure. And how many classes are there, and how many?
Well, it's not like football. I know football, you've got, 5 games that you have to get through between Friday and Saturday. Wrestling, there are four different divisions, and here's how I would put it. I would say you have big school, which would be like your Maryvilles, your bigger, like 5, 6A schools. And then you have your small schools, which we're a part of. And then you would have your private schools or your Christian schools, and then you have your girls division. And so those will be the 3 boys divisions you'll see, and then the girls division will also all run at state on that weekend of state.
So the private still compete with private.
Absolutely. So you'll get to see. You won't. I mean, not all the kids there for state will be wrestling against each other, but you'll get to see every single division out there crowning their champions for their schools.
So Clinton was in the district with Halls, and they won the state, right?
Yep. Yep. So we had to come in second to anybody. I think at least it was a state champion, right?
How'd y'all fare against Halls? How many times did you wrestle?
We only had 10 spots, and I think we won 4 matches that night. I think.
Did you have a duel with them this year?
Yeah, well, our district duels to decide who was want to win district and come in second in district.
Other than that, I mean, like during the regular season, did you?
No,
wrestle
we didn't
them?
see them during the regular season. We just set that up for the district with them, but we got around a lot this year. We've got to go to a lot of different places. One thing that I try to do is I try to travel and get the team out of the state. I try to get them to the biggest tournaments in other states so they can feel that competition. One thing I just believe in is hard competition makes you a better wrestler. So I want to go out there and find it for them. Not all the times you can find that in practice. If you're the stud on your team at a certain weight class, it's just hard for you to kind of find someone that's going to challenge you at practice. So we got to find that, out and about wrestling other folks. So that's how we try to go about it.
Yeah, sounds like you're doing a great job, and
thank you.
Trying to play tougher competition, and What was the overall record this year for Clinton?
I want to say we were about 500. I want to say it was like 17 and 15, something like that.
So
we entered a few.
It's a lot of matches.
Yeah, well, we entered a few of these bigger dual tournaments, like the one that we were at Halls, and we didn't. We came in towards the back of the pack in that, where we couldn't compete, giving up forfeits with some of these other schools. We want to compete wrestling-wise. We want to compete in our head-up matches at least, and so we try to challenge ourselves to do that. So we did one big one at Science Hill, and so when you go against these really top-of-the-line schools from different states, West Virginia, Kentucky, you get to see where you're at. But now individually, in our individual tournaments this year, we went to North Carolina for the Falcon Frenzy. Lucas won it last year, and guys placed at that tournament. And as far as our stats line going, we had some good stats from that tournament. We had something to hold our head up about and come back and hit the mats hard with. So both that and we go to Kentucky. It's called the 5-Star Classic in Lexington, Kentucky. It's Lafayette High School. Coach Green up there always welcomes us. He is somebody I think also that has a history with Coach Snyder. So Coach Green's been great about having us up. I think if all goes well and we can get the mats and we can do a tournament next year, they're going to try to come down. So we're just looking for opportunities to, really expand the sport and grow it.
Okay. And Walter, any questions?
Yes. How many players do you have out in each division? How many divisions do you generally field?
Well, right now we're filling 10 weight classes, and we've had some injuries this year. We've really struggled. Lucas ain't the only one that's been bit with the injury bug. I've got about 8 kids sitting on the sidelines at every practice right now. So I am hurting, and right now we are filling just the weight classes we got. So everybody up there is wrestling at their weight, and nobody is challenging them for it right now. So and that's just kind of how sometimes the season, plays out with injuries and stuff. And we're just going to try to keep being resilient and making sure we got more people out next year to help fill those holes.
And interesting question from me, I guess. What weight division-wise, what is the hardest division to defend against, generally speaking?
So you want me to get these guys in an argument up here saying what's the toughest weight class that there is? I'll tell you something. When you get from anywhere between that, like I want to say around like 145-ish all the way to 170, like you've got some real athletes running around on the mat. But even like Justice's class, the 120s, man, they really get after it too. You might not see as big of throws and stuff like that, but you're going to see some really good, and even 182. I mean, I've seen some really good tough 182 matches this year too. So it just depends on really what the matchup is and who the two guys going out on the mat are going to be, because that right there can kind of dictate whether you're going to see fireworks or not. I can sit here all night and say 170 is the toughest division, but maybe you like to see the big guys go at it. And, that's you like. It's just, I guess it's about your preference a little.
And also, which I guess these all depend, but what is your strongest strength? Leverage, raw strength, or speed? What's the most important one, generally speaking?
Leverage, always, all day long. That's why wrestling's such a good sport for football players, because there's nothing. I mean, if you get a lineman out and let him wrestle for 3 years, he's going to be able to handle any a guy that's bigger than him, stronger than him. He's going to be able to know how to use his body, create leverage on the football field, and whether it be pancake blocks or whatever. But I mean, it translates over into other sport. Leverage is something where you're constantly taking your body and being able to put it in positions to have an advantage over your opponent. So I think that's just having a good sensibility where you're at on the mat and stuff. So
be able to think.
Yep. Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and let's meet these kids over here, and let's start with Bianca. Bianca, you're a senior, and it's your second year wrestling.
Yeah.
So you just compete with girls, right?
Yeah, only wrestle girls in the matches. At practice, it's kind of girls and boys, but in the matches, it's only girls.
Do you have any like pre-match rituals? Anything you like to do?
Not really.
Start any superstitions? Or?
I'm really bad about like last minute. Like they'll be like, "You're going," so I'll just like put on my headgear and run up there. Like I kind of just. I guess the less I think about it, the less I psych myself out, and the less I like worry about it. So I'm not like as stressed going out there.
What would you say your record is this year? You think you have a chance to move on and do to the sectionals?
I think as long as I like really work in practice this week, I could make it up out of regionals. I just have to really like focus on a couple things at practice.
Okay, Lucas, what's your pregame match ritual?
Well, I'm always ready. I'm always beside the mat. Like, I'll go down there 4 matches ahead of my match, get my music playing, walk around, get ready, get everything, like, start thinking about what I'm going to do, how this guy, like, so I've wrestled a bunch of these kids already, so I know, like, what I need to look out for, what I need to do. So I'll get ready in my mind, like, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do that. And I just get ready for the match and get my music playing, just get ready.
Justice?
I'd say I'm a little bit like Lucas. You know, I always go down there pretty early, and they always bully me for it, but I just like to be prepared. I'm always like, no matter what, like even when it comes to duels, even if we could start at the weight class 160, and I'm already up, just walking around with my headgear on, just getting ready, and, you know, I just think about what I'm going to do, and, like, some of the things that coach tells me I could work on, like, see if I can work on that, and, you know, just constantly push myself to see, you know, and like since it's later on in the year, I've wrestled some of these kids before and know what to expect and know their weaknesses, and I know my weaknesses, and I try and train on them every time we go to practice. And, you know, sometimes it's really annoying because coach wants me to do this one move and I just hate that move, or, you know, but yeah, I just chill, just think what I'm going to do during the match, and what happens if something goes wrong, what am I going to do? So, you know.
Riley?
I always like to come into my matches thinking this guy can beat me, but I can beat him. Everything I can do, he can do. Everything he can do, I can do. Every match is a winnable or losable match, but I come out there just wrestling how I wrestle, and I end up winning. So.
How's your season, and what's your record?
I would say I'm around 38-8 this year, somewhere around there.
How far did you advance last year? Did you get to the sectionals?
I got to the blood round of sectionals. If I would have won, would have made it to state, but ended up losing that match, and that'll always be with me. So I look at that almost every day during practice in my mind, thinking I never want to be there again. So.
And Kayla, what's your pre-match rituals?
I usually just get up like 2 matches before I have to go up. I'll put music in and I'll start warming up, and I'll just think about what I could do best whenever I get out there, and try to work on my shots and stuff whenever I get out there.
How's it going for you, a freshman this year?
As a freshman, it's going pretty good, and as like this being my first time ever doing anything like this, I'd say I'm doing pretty good.
Got some wins under your belt, I guess.
I have a couple wins, yeah.
That's good. Walter?
To each one of y'all, how'd y'all come about being interested in wrestling?
I just wanted to try something different, and I found out that they had a wrestling team, so I joined it because I thought it was going to be interesting.
I remember this day to a T. So I was in the middle of lunch, eating my sandwich, and Coach Keith, the football coach, he calls me down to this little desk there is in the gym, and he just tells me that I'm gonna wrestle. And I call my mom, and I'm saying, hey, I'm going to wrestling practice after school, and now every time that we have to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, she mentions that and how much she hates it.
And Riley, I know you're a football player, and you started for the Dragons this past season. And how's that football and wrestling correlate? Does both sports help each other?
I would say that they're definitely complementary of each other. They definitely help each other out in many different ways.
Okay.
As your coach was saying, the leverage aspect.
Oh, yeah.
And let's go back to Justice, and what that question you had, how long come about wrestling?
Honestly, I really didn't expect to join wrestling at all in my high school career. Like, I'd never really done sports before this. It was really just like youth basketball, and but I remember one of our teammates, Keegan, he just kept on just basically begging me to join. And I was telling him no. And, you know, like, I was just like, you know what, one day I'll just go out there and try it. If I don't like it, then I just won't do it, you know. And then I ended up falling in love with it and constantly watching YouTube videos and constantly trying to get better. And, you know, I thank Keegan every day for that. So, yeah.
Lucas?
So I started wrestling in middle school, but I always thought before I started wrestling that wrestling was just a weird, like, just weird kid sport because you're just, like, touching all the people and everything. I thought it was weird. And then I went to wrestling practice one day. I was like, this isn't so bad. So I went to my first tournament. Got my butt kicked, of course. You always do your first time. Started like, oh, I don't know about this. Next weekend, I won a tournament. I was like, wow, I really do like this. I just stuck with it, and it's just now I'm in love with the sport. I love it. It's a perfect sport for me. I love it.
Well, no. Walter, any questions for?
So you're saying with your wrestling and your football, they sort of go hand in hand.
Mine does for explosiveness because I'm a wide receiver on the football field. So like when we're in the stances, it strengthens your legs, gets your legs all like muscled up and everything. So it really helps that receiver for exploding off the line and stuff. That's how it helps me. And of course, it helps like tackling. Of course, Coach said the big guys, they learn a lot from it, learn how to use their body and everything, awkward positions and everything. It's perfect sport football. I think it correlates perfectly with it.
Lucas, I know you're an all-district football wide receiver.
Yes, sir.
One of the best wide receivers I've seen come through Clinton in quite some time, and I congratulate you on your season you had this year. And I know Clinton's going to miss you on the gridiron, and
yes,
also
sir.
I know Coach McDonald's going to miss you wrestling. And once again, I know you advanced to the state last year in wrestling, and so you're an outstanding athlete. So, do you have any plans for college, like to participate in any sports?
I thought about it long and hard. I think I'm going to not go to college for wrestling. I'm going to come back, and I'm going to stick, and I'm going to help coach wrestling and stuff. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to go to TCAT for lineman school.
Okay. All right. That's outstanding. Okay, Bianca, how'd you get about starting wrestling?
So I had thought about it for a little bit before, and then they made the announcement at school, and I was just like, no, if I keep thinking about it, I'm never going to do it. I just got to go down there and talk to the coach. So that's what I did, and then from there, I've just always loved it and stuck with it.
And I know two of you guys play other sports. How about you other three? Do y'all play any other sports?
So I've played 4 other sports for Clinton High School. I will say wrestling is definitely one of wrestling's definitely the hardest one I've done. Definitely one of my favorites.
What other sports do you play?
I don't play them anymore, but I did cross country, track, soccer, and basketball.
Okay.
And
number 3.
I don't really have a history in playing sports, obviously youth basketball, but wrestling has definitely opened up my eye to wanting to do more sports and wanting to do like different activities, and it's really like pushed me to go out and try new things. So, I definitely want to try a different sport after wrestling season or next year just to try something new, but I don't really plan on it. I don't really know which sport I would do, but wrestling's my home, so yeah.
I'd say wrestling probably with you, like Coach was saying, leverage-wise, that's probably helped you and would help you a whole lot in other sports. You may be a little bit small, but I bet you have a big punch. So.
Yeah, I definitely would like you punch. I would definitely like to do like boxing and stuff like that in the future. So yeah, Riley trains like jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. So he's really opened up my eye to like new opportunities that I could do, or like new things to try every day.
Let's go back down to Bianca. You're a senior. What's your plans after graduation?
There is talk about college wrestling, but I would also really like to just come back and help coach, like with the girls' team, and just be like kind of like team manager and like just whatever he needs, just kind of like help him with it.
Okay. What's your hobbies away when you're not participating in sports?
I really do. I love going to work. I love my jobs. So I just work as much as possible outside of season.
Okay. Lucas, your hobbies?
Well, when it's in season, I'm always hunting, fishing, doing all that. But most time, I'm always at work. I love my job, love doing work, but it's really all my hobbies. Besides, I like going four-wheeling and stuff. So my Jeep's broke down right now, but I love going four-wheeling in it. But yeah, that's really my hobbies.
Justice?
That's a good question. Really, I just play video games. I really don't do much. I just watch wrestling. Really, when it's in the season, all I'm thinking about is wrestling, and it sounds like no way, but I promise you can ask a lot of people. I'm always talking about wrestling in my classroom, and always asking coach what I could do better, and who I can look up. And I watch a lot of wrestling matches for college, wrestling duels, and just the top people in the nation. And I'm always trying to learn new wrestling moves and improve on different positions that I get put in wrestling. So
What's your favorite wrestling move?
Well, there's a lot of positions in wrestling, but if I had to pick my favorite bottom move, it'd definitely be the Granby roll. And if I had to pick my favorite neutral move, maybe outside single. It's definitely one of my favorite moves. I know it's Lucas's favorite move too. So
You ever wrestled Lucas? Or?
Yeah, all the time. All the time. Yeah. It doesn't end well for me, but
Probably learned a lot though.
definitely. Yeah, when I definitely ask him a few questions sometimes, and if he sees me mess up on something, since he's on the sideline now, he can definitely coach us and tell us what to do during matches, and that's definitely a better step up, because not only is coach great, but it's nice having somebody like Lucas on the sideline and teaching us, stuff to do. And I've always asked him how to turn people and how to get back points, because Lucas is a really good turner and getting back points and stuff like that. And I know I'm definitely conditioned enough to go 3 rounds and stuff like that. So points matter in wrestling, and Lucas is definitely good at getting points. So I ask him about that stuff too.
Riley, what's your favorite move?
My favorite move.
I don't want to give that away.
That's hard. I want to say I've gotten really good at this move called a fireman's carry, and it just works for me. I like it.
And Kayla, you play any other sports?
I don't play any other sports because, I didn't really have any interest in sports, but I just wanted to try something new since I was in high school.
What's your favorite move? What's your favorite wrestling move?
I hit the duck under a lot, but it doesn't really work for me sometimes. So, yeah.
It's getting better.
It's getting better.
And asking really you, coach, and all the different players, I know this is probably an off-the-cuff thing to ask, but the so-called show wrestling of WWE and some of those, do they do anything even remotely similar to what you are doing?
I would say no. Closest you get is back in the day when you'd watch Bret Hart and go against Owen Hart, and of course they do some amateur wrestling stuff, but there's not really much of there's not much of a parallel there.
It's sort of amazing that sort of thing is so much for show, and this is the real thing.
I don't think nobody'd like it if Raleigh grabs some glass out of his trunks there and ground him at somebody's forehead in the middle of a regional match. So there's definitely a big difference between the two.
Yeah.
But right now, we're going to go ahead and take another break, and we'll be right back visiting with the Clinton Dragon wrestling team and Coach McDonald. So stick around. You're watching the Locker Room Chat.
Using OAB law when you have an accident is easier than a hockey player using a microwave, pouring a cup of coffee, transferring a call, using an elevator, going to the dentist.
You got a pain in your neck, just turn that record to a check. Get the money you need, get the money you want, call OEB now.
As soon as I walked in the door and saw just the ambiance of the place, I thought, wow. I said, this is really nice. Everyone is just great with all of the residents.
I call this the Alexander House of Angels.
This is an example of one of our rooms. This is considered a large studio. We do have 4 different size rooms. They all have their own private bathrooms. They all have a small kitchenette.
I always tell residents that they feed us wisdom. I feel like that's a big special part of working in assisted living.
And it's a big family here. Everyone is very nice.
Look out for each other.
They do. She's made a lot of friends. It's been that from day one.
Yeah, it has. I love our building, our people, but I tell you, I wouldn't be anywhere else.
Daniel Forrester has been recognized as one of East Tennessee's leading attorneys for nearly 2 decades. Civil disputes, criminal defense, divorces, and juvenile custody cases are all part of an impressive resume. Daniel's legal experience also includes representing clients in local, state, and federal courts. A husband and a father, Daniel is a Rule 31 certified mediator who has represented hundreds of families in Chancery Court. Call Daniel Forrester Law Office at 865-457-7900 for a free consultation.
Earl Duff Pre-Owned Center in Harriman is your one-stop shop for vehicle sales and service. The Duff family is open for business for everything automotive. We offer fully inspected, dependable pre-owned vehicles, and most come with a powertrain warranty at no extra cost. We also have a complete service department equipped for maintenance and repairs on all makes and models.
Don't settle for less with your next pre-owned vehicle purchase. Come to Earl Duff Pre-Owned Center in Harriman or online at duffpreowned.com.
Roan Metals Group has been serving East Tennessee for decades. Locally owned and operated with convenient hours of operation. Roan Metals buys all types of scrap metal. Nothing's too big or too small. Still have that clunker sitting around? We've been buying them for years. Roan Metals Group are specialists in industrial scrap. We have what it takes to get any size job done. Roan Metals urges you to recycle responsibly. Scrap with only licensed dealers. A member of the TSRA and the ISRI. Roan Metals Group. Turn that scrap into cash.
And Walter, bring us back in on that.
That's not a three-pointer by Vanderbilt. They scored to win 66-65. And as I was talking to the coach here, we have a hard time at Vanderbilt to win. And this was sad because I think we should have won this thing.
Well, okay. That's enough of that. But
Don't lose to in-state rivals ever.
We're going to have a first time it's ever happened here at BBB Channel 12. We got Riley Silk's going to show one of his moves, and Cody Jordan.
And my wife's going to get her.
His MMA instructor's going to be the guinea pig here. So.
My wife's going to get her wish. She wanted a hole to be shown tonight, and it looks like we're going to have one.
So what's this move, Riley?
We call this the fireman's carry.
Fireman's carry. Okay. Don't hurt him now. Don't hurt him.
I won't try not to.
It's live and in living color.
So what we do here, I like to get an overhook on his arm. What I'll do from here, I'll come under.
Oh, Lord help us.
And then I'll just dump.
Wow.
1, 2, 3. That was a fast count.
All right. Thank you, Cody.
Good job.
Thank you, Riley. And Coach McDonald, what do you think about that?
Yeah, we didn't want to tear up any camera equipment, so we'll keep it at quarter speed there. Next time we'll just let them go, and we'll wreck the whole place before we go. But we want to make sure we got welcome back at least one other time before
get the
that.
brass knucks in there.
That's right. Yep.
Coach McDonald, you had something you just wanted to talk about?
Yeah. What we try to do to promote our team and to grow the sport is sometimes we'll end up working with other high schools in the area. If they don't have a wrestling program, we might work with them. Last couple of years, we've been working with Campbell County High School. They've had a wrestler come down. That's kind of ended, and I think, and I hope that it happens, but I think Oak Ridge is trying to get a team going. And I know we're out here in the Oak Ridge area and people are from around the area listening. We are trying to maybe do some sort of co-op with Oak Ridge, and where if they don't end up getting a team next year, at least some guys that are at Oak Ridge that want to wrestle can come on and have a place to wrestle. I think Anderson County does it too. I'm not sure what school they work with, but anything we can do to promote wrestling and get it to grow in the area, whether it be Oliver Springs, Oak Ridge, Clinton, AC, down the line. We really want to do. So that's just something I thought I'd let everybody know about. And also we do our freestyle and Greco season will be coming up at the end of March. It's called Pearlers. I had a couple of the guys go back and do a little bit of a history about Anderson County and like something that we could bring all the schools and everybody in Anderson County together and under. And back in the day, before they ended up damming up, the TVA dammed up the rivers, people did a lot of pearl mining up here. So we decided to call ourselves the Pearlers. So that's happening at the end of March. So if any youth kids want to come out, high school age want to come out, come on out and join our club team and get going for the season and start getting fresh for next year already.
Oh yeah.
Just contact Coach McDonald, and that's right. You're at Clinton High School.
That's right. You call Clinton High School, just call the main number and just tell them you want to speak to Coach McDonald, and they'll transfer you right to my number, or you can ask for Athletic Director Martin, and he'll make sure that you get in contact with me any way you need to, for sure.
All right, now we're going to have a little speed round question, have some fun here. So ask y'all some quick questions. So you have to go really fast, okay? So we'll start with Bianca. What's your favorite food?
Probably pizza.
Lucas?
Steak.
Spaghetti.
Cinnamon rolls.
Chicken tenders.
Chicken tender?
Yeah.
Favorite place to eat?
Gondolier.
Gallo Loco.
Olive Garden.
El Indio.
Texas Roadhouse.
Where'd you say, Lucas?
El Indio.
Lady. Yeah. Place you'd like to visit?
Bahamas.
Florida.
Bahamas.
Japan.
Oh, I would like to go back to Florida. I mean, I know I don't really have a place I would like to visit, but
We got about 3 minutes. Kayla, type of music you like to listen to?
I listen to all types. I don't really have
Riley?
All types.
Rap.
Country.
Anything.
Who's your favorite rapper, Justice?
J. Cole.
I don't know him. So I don't know. If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
Invisibility. I don't...
To fly.
Read people's minds.
Riley?
Spider-Man powers.
Mine would be to read people's minds.
What's it like wrestling for Coach McDonald?
It's actually, I actually really like it. He's helped us a lot.
It's an experience.
That's pretty good.
Terrible. No, it's pretty good.
Tough love.
Tough love.
Exactly what Lucas said. Like, I love it, but
You have a nickname, Bianca?
not really. I mean, B's really
No
about it.
wrestling nickname?
Outside slide by.
No.
They call me Silky Smooth, Silky Fresh. There's a bunch of them.
No, I don't really have a nickname.
Anything you're afraid of?
No, not really.
My mom, my grandma.
Coach when he's mad.
Definitely not Coach, nor any other man.
Hey, I've got one for you.
No, I mean,
Favorite team to win in the Super Bowl?
gosh, I don't know.
You don't know who's in it.
Eagles all the way.
I don't have a favorite team.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
I don't have a favorite team.
Go ahead and give a shout out. Shout out, Kayla.
I guess I give a shout out to Coach because he's always there and he helps us out and he makes us better.
Okay, really quick.
I want to shout out Cody Jordan in Resolute Martial Arts.
All right.
Keegan and Lisa.
My mom and dad.
My mom, my grandparents, Coach, the team, everybody.
We thank y'all for being here, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you for having
Good
us.
job.
Appreciate it.
Coach McDonald, thank you for being here as well. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys for having us. Hope we can come back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For Chandler in the back, for Walter, for myself, for Cody filling in. Been watching Locker Room Chat. See you next week.
Go Dragons.